Opening scene: cold winds, Antarctica, year 2047. Snow covered everything. Thick white ice stretched to the horizon. There was no life here, only wind, silence, and secrets buried deep under the ground. A group of scientists in bright red suits walked slowly through a deep ice trench. They were part of a secret mission under the Earth Science Defense Project. They weren't here to study the ice. They were here because a satellite found something strange, a metal object far under the frozen land. The leader, Dr. Marcus Halley, held up his hand. "Stop, we're close," he said. The others gathered around a strange dark shape poking out of the ice. It wasn't rock. It wasn't human. It looked like a piece of a spaceship, but it was old, covered in frost and time. They began digging. Scene 2, the discovery. After hours of work, they uncovered a strange pod, black, smooth, and shaped like a long egg. It had no doors, no buttons, no symbols. But through the frozen glass they saw something inside, a woman. Not human, but not fully alien either. Her skin was pale blue, her hair silver, and her eyes open, but not moving. "Is she dead?" One scientist whispered. Dr. Halley checked the sensors. "No, she's alive. Somehow." Scene 3, secret military base. 6 weeks later, the alien pod was moved to a secret underground base, hidden beneath the Nevada desert. Only top-level officials and scientists were allowed to know. They called her Subject X9. She was studied, scanned, tested, but never harmed. She never moved, never spoke. But her heart was beating, slowly, constantly. Security cameras watched her 24/7. She sat in a large glass room, in the same pose every day, legs crossed, hands resting, head slightly tilted forward. Like she was meditating. Like she was waiting. Scene 4. Whispers in the base. Years passed. New scientists came. Old ones left. Some believed she was just brain dead. Others said she was in some kind of alien sleep. But none of them really knew. A young scientist named Dr. Lena Ortiz started studying her. Lena believed the woman was watching them, even if she didn't move. "Her eyes are too clear," Lena told her team. "She sees us. I'm sure of it." But nobody listened. They said, "She hasn't blinked in 17 years. That's not life. That's a shell." Scene 5, the sudden glitch. Then one night, everything changed. It was 3:42 a.m. The camera in Subject X9's room glitched. Only for a second. Security guards watching the screen sat up. "What was that? Check the feed." The video replayed. At frame 1045, the alien woman's eyes, they blinked. Not slow. Not random. A natural blink. Quick. Precise. Everyone in the control room stared at the screen. What the hell? Scene 6, the scientist returns. Dr. Lena Ortiz was called immediately. She ran into the observation room, her heart pounding. "Is it true?" she asked. The technician nodded. "See for yourself." Lena replayed the frame. Her hands shook. She blinked. Then, for the first time ever, Subject X9 moved, just her head. She turned her face slowly, calmly, and looked directly at the camera. Scene 7, the message begins. The lights in the room flickered. The air got colder. Suddenly, every screen in the base, computers, monitors, even smartwatches flashed with alien symbols. Blue glowing text, unreadable but alive. Everyone panicked. Is it a hack? Is it her? No one had an answer. Then one word appeared on all screens, written in perfect English. "I'm awake." Scene 8, flashback. A war in the stars. Inside the alien woman's mind, memories flickered. She remembered fire. Screams, ships falling from the sky. She had been in a war not against humans, but against something far worse that her people had been losing. She had made a final choice. She entered a ship alone and fled across the stars, not to escape, but to hide something. Something powerful, something dangerous, something Earth must never find. Scene 9, The military reacts. General Roth, head of base security, ordered full lockdown. I want her restrained. Now, but when soldiers entered the glass room, she stood up for the first time. No sound, no attack. Just a graceful movement. One soldier raised his weapon. She looked at him, and the gun melted in his hands. She didn't move a muscle. She just stared, as if warning him, do not test me. Scene 10. She speaks. Dr. Lena Ortiz stood outside the glass, heart racing. Can you understand me? Lena asked. The alien woman tilted her head. Then finally she spoke, her voice soft, musical, calm. Your war has not started yet, but it will. Lena stepped closer. What war? Why are you here? The alien smiled slightly. To see if your kind is worth saving. Scene 11. Earth listens. News of the event was not leaked to the public, but whispers spread in military circles that a visitor had awoken. A powerful one. Some wanted to keep her locked away. Some wanted to kill her. Others wanted to use her, but nobody understood who she really was, and she never told them her name. Not yet. Scene 12. Final hook scene. Later that night, Dr. Lena Ortiz reviewed an audio log recorded during the alien woman's first words. She played it backwards, just out of curiosity. The reversed audio spoke in perfect English. The hive is coming. You have 9 days. Closing scene. Black screen. Text appears. She didn't crash. She didn't die. She waited. To be continued. A large satellite floated silently in space, blinking its red lights. Suddenly, it caught something, a strange pulse from far, far away. It wasn't a star. It wasn't a planet. It was a signal. Inside the Earth Defense Command Center, alarms started ringing. Sir, we're getting a message from outside our system. General Roth stood in shock. Is it from her people? The tech officer looked pale. No, sir, it's from a war fleet. And they're coming fast. Scene 2. Back at the base. The alien woman, still known only as Subject X9, sat silently in her room. She didn't react to the lights flashing, or the voices shouting outside. But inside her mind, she felt them. She closed her eyes. Her lips moved, but no one heard the words. Outside, Dr. Lena Ortiz stared at the screen. She's doing something. I can feel it. Scene 3. The message arrives. All power in the base suddenly shut down. Darkness. Silence. Then, every screen turned on at the same time. A message appeared, not in English, but in deep, glowing alien text. The words slowly changed to human. Language, return her, or fall. The room went quiet. Then another message. You have 7 days. General Roth looked at Lena. She's the reason for this, isn't she? Lena didn't answer, because deep down, she knew the truth. Scene 4. She speaks again. Later that night, Lena sat across the glass from the alien woman. Who are they? She asked. The alien opened her eyes slowly. Her voice was soft but strong. They are my people, but they are no longer what they once were. What do they want? They want me or your destruction. Lena felt cold. Why? The alien looked up. Because I carry something they fear. Scene 5. Memories of fire. Inside her mind, the woman remembered her past. Her planet Vilantria was once peaceful, strong but noble, until the Hive Lords rose from the shadows. They were once protectors, now monsters. They hunted her people, took over their minds, controlled their ships, turned them into a living army, soulless, endless. She was a commander, a leader. She tried to stop them, but in the final battle she saw one future: escape. With the last secret weapon hidden in her body, she fled. She found Earth, and she waited. Scene 6. Earth prepares. General Roth stood before a global meeting. They're coming for her. But if we hand her over, what happens next? The leaders argued. She's not one of us, but she hasn't attacked us. She brought them here. In the end, Earth made a choice. Prepare for war. Ships were launched. Satellites armed. Secret weapons activated, but none of them knew what they were preparing for, because they were fighting an enemy that didn't fear death. An enemy that had already won other worlds. Scene 7. The first ship appears. 3 days later, telescopes caught the first image, a massive alien ship entering the edge of the solar system. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It simply watched. Then another came. And another. By the 5th day, there were 12 ships above Earth, still silent, still waiting. Scene 8. Inside the glass room, Lena sat with the alien woman again. You still haven't told us your name. The woman looked at her, then slowly said, Ilara V. Lena whispered it. Ilara. Ilara stood up, walked slowly to the glass. You must listen now, Dr. Ortiz. They won't destroy you with guns. They'll destroy you with fear. Why not fight them? Ilara closed her eyes. Because I don't know if your kind is worth saving yet. Scene 9. The human question. Lena sat alone that night, thinking. She watched videos of Earth wars, greed, hate, but also of kindness, unity, people saving strangers. Maybe Ilara was right to wait. Maybe Earth still had to prove itself. Scene 10. The first attack on day 6, without warning. One of the alien ships fired a beam of light at a human satellite. It didn't explode, it just vanished. No smoke, no fire, just gone. Earth panicked. They're testing us, Roth said. We need to respond. The president gave the order. 3 missiles were launched into space. They hit the alien ship. A moment, people cheered. Then the ship reformed itself like liquid metal. And this time, it fired back. Scene 11. Cities black out. The alien beam hit the ocean, and every city along the coast lost power. No communication, no internet, no light, not an attack, a warning. People began to riot. Others prayed. Earth was breaking down, and the war hadn't even started. Scene 12. Ilara leaves her room that night. Ilara touched the glass of her room, and it melted away. Alarms rang. Guards surrounded her. Weapons aimed. She raised her hand and every weapon floated in the air, pieces separating gently. She looked at them. I am not your enemy, but if you shoot again, I won't protect you. They let her pass. Scene 13. Into the sky. Ilara walked to the top of the base. The night sky was full of stars. Above, the 12 alien ships glowed. She lifted her arms. Her eyes turned bright silver. She spoke a language no human knew, but the ships above paused. They listened. Then, they backed away. Not far, but just enough. Earth gained one more day. Scene 14. What is she hiding? General Roth confronted Lena. What is she really? A weapon? A spy? Lena shook her head. She's something else. I think she's a judge. A judge? Yes, watching us, deciding. Scene 15. A secret recording. Deep inside the base, a technician found a secret file. It was a recording from Ilara's ship, recovered 17 years ago. The message was old, damaged, but one line was clear. She carries the core. If it falls into the wrong hands, the hive will rise again. The technician gasped. The core. It's inside her. Scene 16. The countdown begins. The sky cracked open again. A message appeared in the clouds glowing. Seen by all humans, you failed. The final day begins. Ilara stood at the edge of the cliff, looking at the stars. Her eyes filled with something no one expected. Tears, not of fear, but of loss. She had seen this happen before, and she had hoped Earth would be different. Final scene, a voice in the darkness. As the world prepared for the final battle, one child stood in a field. Looking at the ship's. He whispered to his mother, "Is she going to save us?" The mother looked up. "I don't know." The boy closed his eyes. "I think she's waiting for something." Far away, Alara's voice echoed in the air, though no one saw her speak. You still have one chance, one spark, one voice. I'm listening. Closing text on black screen. War did not begin with weapons. It began with silence. And she was the only one who could stop it. To be continued. 12 alien ships hovered silently above Earth. They didn't move, they didn't speak. But every human felt their presence. The world had changed. Fear filled every country. Governments shut down airports. People stayed inside. News channels showed nothing but the sky. At the secret desert base, Ilara stood outside for the first time in 17 years. Her silver eyes watched the stars. Dr. Lena Ortiz stood behind her. What are they waiting for? She asked. Ilara didn't turn. They are waiting for me. And for the others. Lena froze. Others? Ilara finally looked at her. I was never the only one. Scene 2. Strange events worldwide. In different parts of the world, something strange began to happen. In Brazil, a farmer found glowing marks in his cornfield. Circular shapes. Not burned, but grown that way. In Egypt, a man in a village woke up speaking a language no one understood, the same language Ilara used. In Japan, all the birds in a small town flew in perfect circles above a child's house for hours. In India, a girl looked into a well and saw a face looking back, not her own. People posted videos online, but most were taken down quickly by world governments. Something was happening. Scene 3. Ilara's warning. Ilara sat alone in the main control room of the base. Cameras were off. Soldiers were ordered to stay away. Dr. Lena sat beside her with a notebook. Ilara whispered softly, "There are others on your planet, sleeping, hidden, watching. Some are like me, others are not." Lena leaned closer. "Why didn't you tell us? You weren't ready to believe." "Are they here to help us?" Ilara looked down. "Some may. Others may not remember who they were. The hive reaches into minds and changes them." Lena whispered, "How do we know who to trust?" "You won't." Scene 4. A message from the sky. That night, a new message appeared in the sky, but this time only visible through satellites. One sentence glowing in red. She lied. "She is the hive." General Roth was called at once. "Someone's trying to turn us against her," Lena said. But Roth wasn't so sure. Or maybe they're telling the truth. Scene 5. The hidden file. A young hacker working with Earth's Defense Force, named Dev, had been secretly watching the base data. He found a hidden file inside Ilara's pod. He opened it. A map of Earth appeared, with 7 red dots across different continents. Locations? He whispered. The file's title read, "Hive Sleeper Units, Emergency Stasis." He stared in horror. There are more, and they're already here. Scene 6. The sleeper wakes. In a hospital in South Africa, a man in a coma for 10 years suddenly sat up. His eyes were glowing blue. He stood, walked past the nurses and disappeared. 2 hours later, a power station near the hospital exploded, no cause found. Security footage showed him walking straight into the control room, not opening doors, melting through them. He was calm, cold, controlled, not human anymore. Scene 7. Earth reacts. Governments began looking for the sleepers, but they didn't know how to find them. There were no names. No records. They looked human. They acted human. Until it was too late. In total, 4 awakenings happened in 2 days. Each time, something important was destroyed. A server hub, a satellite dish, a weapons factory, and a fuel depot. One by one, Earth's defenses were being silently removed. Scene 8. Ilara is questioned. General Roth entered the room with armed guards. He stared at Ilara. "Tell me the truth. Did you bring them here? Are you the hive?" Ilara stood slowly. "I am not the hive. I ran from them. Why should we believe you?" Ilara looked at him, not angry, not scared. "You shouldn't, but ask yourself, if I wanted to destroy you, why would I wait 17 years? Roth had no answer. Scene 9, Lena's discovery. Lena sat in her lab, staring at Alara's DNA scan. It didn't match any alien database, but then she compared it to something else, a 12-year-old child's scan from a medical file in India. The pattern was similar, not the same, but close. She found another file in Brazil. A child adopted after a crash. Also similar. Her heart raced. These children, they're part of her species. She checked their photos. Normal eyes, normal skin, but the DNA didn't lie. Scene 10, The Fifth Awakening, in Russia. A boy playing near a river found a woman sleeping inside an old ship, covered in moss and roots. She opened her eyes, whispered something in his ear. The boy screamed and ran. The next day, that part of the forest burned to the ground. No flames, just ash. She was gone. Scene 11, The Secret Meeting. Lena called Dev, the hacker, into a private room. She showed him the scans, the photos, the map. There are more like her, but they were scattered across Earth. Maybe before humans even existed. Dev frowned. You're saying they've been here for thousands of years? Lena nodded. Some are good. Some might be hive-infected. What happens if they all wake up? Lena looked afraid. I don't know. Scene 12, Alara's mind. That night, Alara sat in silence, her eyes closed. Her mind traveled not in space, but in thought. She saw them. The others, some were waking, some were confused. One was corrupted. She reached out mentally. You were my sister once. Listen to me. But the other voice replied, too late. They fed me truth, not lies. Now I see the weakness in you. Earth will fall. Alara opened her eyes, sweating. She's awake. She whispered. Scene 13. The storm begins. Across the world, weather began to shift. Clouds formed strange patterns. Animals acted strange. Machines glitched. A global storm was forming, not natural, not human. It was energy-based. Ela looked to the sky. She's trying to awaken the core. Lena stepped back. What core? Alara didn't answer. Scene 14, Roth's decision. General Roth stood in the war room. We can't trust her. We attack all known hive sleeper locations. But what if they're not hive? Someone asked. Roth was firm. We can't wait to find out. If she won't help us, we destroy them all. Missiles were prepared. Targets locked. Elara watched it all in silence. Scene 15, The Choice. That night, Lena approached Alara. They're going to attack. Can you stop them? I can try. But it may wake the core before it's time. What happens if it wakes too early? Alara looked sad. Earth dies. Not from the hive, from me. Lena swallowed hard. Alara, why are you really here? The alien woman answered, to see if your world deserves what I protect, or if it deserves what's coming. Final scene, a voice in the sky. A child stood outside in the rain, looking at the lightning. He heard a voice in the thunder. She's not alone, and neither are you. He turned to his mother. Did you hear that? She shook her head, but far away, another sleeper opened her eyes and smiled. Closing text, black screen. There are more. Some want peace, some want fire. And Earth stands in the middle, to be continued. The 12 alien ships still hovered above Earth. But now, they were no longer silent. From one ship, a strange sound began to echo, a low, vibrating hum that reached the ground. It shook buildings. It made people's ears bleed. Animals screamed. Dropped from the sky without warning. Something had begun. Inside Earth's global control center, red alerts flashed everywhere. This is not a drill. The first strike has started. Scene 2, Alara's warning. Alara stood calmly inside the desert base. The lights above her flickered. Sparks danced from wires in the walls. Lena ran to her. Alara, what is that sound? Are they attacking us? Alara nodded slowly. This is the beginning, but not the full war. This is the hive's way of shaking the planet, softening it. Can we stop it? Elara looked up. Double quotes, no, but I can slow it down. She closed her eyes, her skin glowed faintly. Then, the sound in the air dropped. Not gone, but quieter. For now. Scene 3, the first death, in Berlin. One of the 7 known sleeper locations was hit by a missile ordered by General Roth. A small mountain exploded. People nearby screamed, thinking war had started, but underground. Something else screamed too. A hive sleeper, the one inside, woke up before its full time. It didn't die. It transformed. It came out of the crater, walking slowly. Tall, skin like metal, eyes like stars. It opened its mouth, and a wave of light burst out. Every soldier nearby turned to ash. The first hive soldier had entered the war. Scene 4, Earth responds. General Roth gave the next order without hesitation. Fire at all sleeper points, all of them. But what about the ones not awakened? An officer asked. Roth didn't blink. We can't take that risk. One by one, Earth's military forces launched attacks at the other locations marked on the alien map. Brazil, Egypt, India, Russia, Australia, Canada. Some targets exploded, but 2 did not. In those places, the missiles vanished before reaching their goal. Elara whispered, "They are awake now." Scene 5, Betrayal from Within. Dev, the hacker working with Lena, was watching the missile data in real time. He noticed something strange. Some of the launch codes had been changed remotely before the order was even given. He traced the signal. It didn't come from Earth. It came from one of the alien ships above. Dev's heart sank. They're already in our systems. He ran to Lena. They're controlling parts of our weapons. They're playing us. Scene 6, Elara's truth. Lena finally confronted Elara in the base hallway. You said you weren't hive, but they're protecting some sleepers. Why? Elara didn't hide anymore, because some of them are mine. Not hive, not infected, just asleep. Then why attack Earth? Elara took a deep breath. Because your leaders attacked first, and the hive used that moment to rise. She looked into Lena's eyes. They were waiting for one mistake, and now it has happened. Scene 7, A Sleeper Helps, in India. One of the missiles aimed at a sleeper site was stopped mid-air, not destroyed, but caught. A young girl stood at the center of the site. She raised her hand. The missile floated gently, then dropped into the ground without exploding. She was only 10 years old, but her eyes were like Elara's silver. Ancient, calm. She spoke to the soldiers. I am not your enemy, but if you attack again, I will not stop the next one. Scene 8, The Global Panic. As videos of the sleeper girl spread online, people all over the world began to question the truth. Are all aliens dangerous? Did Earth start the war? Who really controls the sky? Some people called Elara a protector. Others called her a liar. Riots broke out in several cities. Churches filled with people praying. Governments broke ties with each other. Earth was not united. It was falling apart, exactly as the hive wanted. Scene 9, Hive signal detected. Dev worked all night. He found a pattern inside the strange hum that began earlier. It was not just a sound. It was a command repeating over and over. Awaken, destroy, return. He showed Lena. This signal is calling the hive sleepers around the world, not just the 7. There could be more. Lena looked horrified. How many? Dev whispered. We don't know. Scene 10, the second. Strike begins. The alien ships above Earth began to move slowly, but with purpose. They were spreading out one above each continent. Earth's armies tried to track them, but the ships changed shape in midair, becoming fog. Then solid, then invisible. Then small objects dropped from them. Pods. Each one landing in a different major city. From each pod came one being tall, silent, covered in armor like stone. Hive Soldiers. War had now truly begun. Scene 11. Ilara's choice. Back at the base, Lena begged Ilara. You have to fight them. Help us. Show the world whose side you're on. Ilara looked at the stars. I will fight, but not for your leaders. Not for revenge. Then for what? For the innocent. For the children. For those who still believe in peace. Lena nodded. Then let's show them. Scene 12. The Sky War begins. Ilara stepped outside the base. She lifted her hands. A bright light shot into the sky from her chest, a signal of her own, from different parts of Earth. Lights answered. The non-hive sleepers began to rise. Some flew, some ran at super speed. Some simply walked calmly into danger, but they were united. Ilara had called them, and they had come. Scene 13. First clash in the sky, over New York. Two hive soldiers faced a single sleeper, an old man with glowing eyes. He didn't run. He didn't speak. He raised his hands, and a shield of light formed around him. The hive soldiers attacked, but the light pushed them back. From behind the clouds, another sleeper arrived, a woman. Her hands like fire. She burned one hive soldier into dust. The other escaped. Earth was fighting back. Scene 14. A terrible discovery. Dev's final scan revealed something worse. The hive signal was not just calling to sleepers. It was calling to humans too. People with weak minds, broken hearts, or deep anger. Some of them began to change. Their eyes turned black. Their voices went cold. The hive was infecting minds, not just bodies. Earth's war was now inside cities and inside hearts. Scene 15. Roth's last order. General Roth, now desperate, ordered a final weapon to be prepared. A space-based nuclear beam, hidden for 30 years. If this gets worse, we fire it at the hive's main ship. But sir, the officer warned, that could destroy the entire orbit and maybe more. Roth stared at the screen. We won't go down without a fight. Final scene. Ilara's warning to the world as chaos spread. Ilara sent a message, not to leaders, but to everyone. It played on all phones, all screens, all devices. Her face was calm. Her voice was soft. You are not alone. We came long ago to protect your world. But some of us were taken, changed, turned. Now they return to finish what they started. But this war is not theirs to win. It is yours. You must choose. Fear or hope, hate or unity. We can fight beside you, but only if you are worth saving. The message ended, and the world watched and waited. The sky was no longer blue. Dark clouds circled above every continent. Strange lights flickered between them, like lightning, but silent. The hive ships still hovered, but now they pulsed with light, like beating hearts. Inside each ship something moved. Something alive, something waiting. But the worst danger wasn't in the sky anymore. It was already on the ground. And inside people's minds. Scene 2. The first turned human, at a military base in Norway. Captain Rolf sat in his room, hands shaking. He hadn't slept in 2 days. Ever since the hum from the sky began, he had been hearing voices. Whispers. At first, they said simple things. Watch. Listen. But now they said more. They lie. You are stronger than them. Destroy the traitors. That night, Rolf walked into the command room with a smile on his face. He shot 3 of his own men before being taken down. His last words were not in any known language. They were hive speak. Scene 3. Lena's research in the desert base. Dr. Lena sat in front of a large digital board. Connecting patterns. Dev, the young hacker, stood beside her. Every report shows the same thing, Lena said. The infection is mental. It spreads through the hive signal, not blood. That means anyone could turn. Dev looked nervous. Even me? Lena didn't answer, but her silence was loud. Scene 4. The marked. Some infected humans didn't attack. They just changed. They stopped blinking. They stared for too long. They began repeating strange phrases in public places. Their skin turned pale. Some even had glowing veins on their necks. They were now called the Marked. They didn't seem violent at first, but they followed orders from somewhere. Something was guiding them, watching through them. The Hive had found a way to use human bodies as tools. Scene 5, Alara's warning. Alara stood on the base rooftop, her silver eyes watching the sky. Lena approached with a tablet. "Thousands of reports," she said. "People changing all over the world. What's happening to them?" Alara spoke softly. "The Hive has grown smarter. It no longer needs ships or soldiers to win. It just needs fear and your minds." Lena stepped closer. "Can it take you too?" Alara shook her head. "I was made to resist, but others ... may not be so lucky." Scene 6, Roth's paranoia. General Roth sat in the war room, watching reports from different countries. India had shut down its internet. Russia declared martial law. Germany accused the U.S. of releasing the Hive. Everyone blamed everyone else. Roth slammed his fist on the table. "They've already won if we turn on each other." He pointed at the screen. "We find the Marked. We lock them up, or take them down." An officer asked quietly, "Sir, what if you're infected too?" Roth pulled his gun. "Say that again, soldier." The room went silent. Scene 7, a child's secret. In a small town in Kenya, a boy named Kalen sat alone under a tree. His eyes glowed faintly gold, not like the Hive, but something gentler. He could hear voices too, but they didn't tell him to hurt anyone. They told him to help. To hide. To wait. Kalen was a non-Hive sleeper, one of Alara's kind, but he didn't know what he was until the soldiers came, and then he remembered. Scene 8, Kalen awakens. When the soldiers aimed their guns at Kalen, something inside him unlocked. Time slowed. Rain stopped in the air. He stood calmly and raised one hand. The guns melted like wax. The soldiers fell to their knees, crying not from pain, but from emotion. Kalen spoke for the first time that day. "I don't want to fight." But his voice echoed like thunder. Scene 9, Dev's infection. Back in the desert base, Dev sat in front of a screen. He scratched his arm. Again and again, whispers filled his head. He tried to fight them, but one voice was louder now. "They don't trust you. They never did. You're just a tool. A small mind in a big war. Let us show you the truth." Dev stood slowly. His eyes flickered, just once. Lena noticed. "Dev, are you okay?" He smiled, better than ever. Scene 10, The Trap. Dev uploaded a virus into the base systems, he told Lena. It was a fix, but it wasn't. It was a beacon, a digital light calling the Hive straight to their location. At that moment, 5 small pods dropped near the base. From them, Hive soldiers stepped out. The war had come to the base, and it came because of Dev. Scene 11, The Battle for the Base. Sirens wailed. Soldiers rushed to defend the base. Elara stepped outside and faced the Hive soldiers. Her body glowed with light. Her hands sparked with energy. She ran at them, not like a human, but like a storm. She moved too fast to follow. Each strike from her sent shockwaves through the air. But one of the Hive soldiers was different. It knew her, and it whispered, "Sister." Scene 12, The Hive Sister. The Hive soldier removed her mask. She looked just like Ilara, but darker, colder. Her eyes were black. Her name was Sira. Ilara froze. "You were lost." Sira smiled. "No, I was found. The Hive showed me the truth." "You're infected." "No, I'm free." They clashed in the middle of the storm. Light versus shadow. Past versus present. Scene 13, Lena escapes with proof. During the chaos, Lena grabbed Dev's tablet. She opened the virus file. It showed every human infected by the Hive names, locations, photos. She knew she had to get this to the world. She ran through the flames, through the shooting, and into a tunnel below the base. A hidden line to a satellite dot. She uploaded the file, and the truth was sent to everyone. Scene 14. The world reacts. Phones buzzed. TVs flickered. Screens showed the truth. The hive was inside. People. Neighbors. Leaders. Even friends. The world panicked again. But now, they knew what they were fighting. People started forming defense circles, not based on country, but on trust. Some communities banned electronics to block hive signals. Others began training to resist mental attacks. A small hope was born. Scene 15. Ilara's victory and warning. Ilara finally defeated Sira but didn't kill her. She held her tightly. You can still come back. Sira laughed. There's no coming back. The hive is already inside your future. She vanished into mist. Ilara fell to her knees. Tired, angry, alone. Lena approached. You stopped them. Ilara shook her head. This was only one battle. The real war will test your heart, not your weapons. Lena sat beside her. Then help. U.S. prepare. Final scene. The Hive King awakens. In the deepest part of the hive ship above Earth, something opened its eyes. It had no name. No face. Only a voice. A voice that could shatter glass and crush thoughts. The hive had leaders. And the king had now awakened. His first words were not in anger, but in hunger. Begin the final phase. Everything was quiet, but not peaceful. Inside the hive mothership, far above Earth's surface, the king of silence opened his eyes. They were black as space. His body was tall and thin, made of shadows and metal. He had no mouth, but he could speak. Not with sound, with thoughts. Earth has chosen war. He did not shout. He did not growl. He whispered into the minds of every hive creature across the galaxy. And they obeyed. Scene 2. Ilara feels the shift. Far below, on Earth's surface, Ilara sat alone in a ruined desert. Suddenly she gasped. Her eyes turned silver white. Her breath shook. Lena ran to her. Ilara, what's happening? Ilara stood slowly. Her voice was low. He is awake. Lena didn't understand. Who? Ilara looked up at the dark sky. The one we left in the stars. The one we were supposed to keep sleeping forever. Lena's heart skipped. The Hive King? Ilara nodded. And now, he remembers us. Scene 3. A message from the sky, all over the world. Screens turned black. Then one by one, they lit up with a strange symbol, a black circle, with two lines cutting through it. Then a voice entered every mind at once. Cold, slow, heavy. You were offered peace. You chose fear. You will be broken. You will become. Panic followed instantly. People screamed. Some fainted. Others attacked the screens. And in the deepest corners of the world, the marked began to walk toward something. Unseen. Scene 4. The first throne. In the mountains of Argentina, hive ships dropped a black stone from space. It crashed into a valley. When the smoke cleared, the stone shaped itself into something large. A throne. Tall, silent. Hive soldiers stood around it in silence. The king was not there in body but in mind. And where his throne stood, humans nearby began changing faster. Villages turned into dead towns in just hours. The first hive throne had landed, and more would come. Scene 5. The return of Sira. Sira, the infected sister of Ilara, appeared again. This time, not to fight. She sent a message to Lena using an old Earth radio. The king has plans for you, Lena. Lena asked, why me? Sira answered, because you're still not sure who to trust. And the hive grows best in minds full of doubt. Then the signal cut out. Scene 6. Lena's doubts grow. Lena stood alone in the dark base hallway. She thought about Devo. He turned against them. She thought about Ilara, an alien who said she was a protector, but kept secrets. She thought about the hive. What if they weren't fully wrong? What if Earth was part of this war from the beginning? Then Ilara entered the room. "You're thinking too loudly," she said with a smile. Lena didn't smile back. Scene 7, Secrets of the Past. Ilara decided to tell Lena everything. She brought her to a hidden part of the base, an ancient underground room, older than any human structure. There, glowing symbols lined the walls. Ilara touched them. A hologram showed Earth. From thousands of years ago, Ilara explained, we came before. Humans walked on 2 feet. The hive was born from one of our failed creations. It learned, evolved, and turned against us. We trapped its king far away in space, but something on Earth woke him. Lena whispered, "What?" Ilara looked sad. "Your fear. Your wars. Your hunger for power. All of it created a signal. And the king heard it." Scene 8, The Next Throne Lands, in Tokyo. Another black throne landed, this time on top of a building. Hive energy spread fast. In just 20 minutes, half the city was marked. But one man stood in the way, a sleeper who had not yet awakened. He was blind. But as the hive soldiers arrived, his body began to glow. He opened his eyes, no longer empty, but full of light. "I remember who I am." He raised his hands, and the entire hive force in that area froze. He held them for 30 seconds. Then collapsed. The war had cost him his life, but saved millions. Scene 9, Lena's resistance plan. Lena called the surviving world leaders together digitally. Over a secure line, she told them what she had learned, that the hive thrones were amplifying the king's signal. If we destroy the thrones, we cut off his voice. But General Roth argued, that's just a theory, and we don't even know how many thrones exist. Ilara stepped into frame. "Let me lead a team. We don't have much time." After a long pause, Roth said, "You get one chance." Scene 10, The First Strike Team. Lena, Ilara, and 3 others, 2 humans. One sleeper formed the first team. Their goal, destroy the throne. In Argentina. They used cloaked transport to get close, but the valley was crawling with hive soldiers and dozens of marked humans, and the air itself was thick, like breathing through dust. As they moved forward, they saw something shocking. The throne was growing. Scene 11, The Hive King speaks again. Inside Lena's mind, the king whispered, "You are close, but not close enough. Your heart still hides fear." Lena screamed and fell to her knees. Ilara knelt beside her. "Don't listen to him. He's inside me." "No, he's testing you. That means you're important." Lena stood, shaking, but ready. Scene 12, The Throne Fight. As they reached the throne, 2 massive hive beasts appeared. Not soldiers. Beasts part machine, part flesh. They roared. Ilara attacked first, faster than light. The sleeper helped, controlling gravity to hold one beast down. Lena and the others planted charges around the throne. The beasts were strong but not smart. They focused only on Ilara, letting Lena finish her mission. Then, boom! The throne exploded. A loud screech filled the valley. Then silence. Scene 13, A World Responds. All over Earth, people felt the change. The hive signal weakened. Some of the marked collapsed. Others woke up confused, afraid, but alive. Resistance groups began to form. The world saw that the hive could be hurt. And that gave them hope. Scene 14, Sira's Revenge. But Sira was not finished. She attacked the next city, Paris, with her own hive beasts. She spoke through every screen. "You destroy one throne, we build 3 more. The king is eternal. We are the future." Ilara and Lena watched the news in silence. Lena clenched her fists. "Then we destroy all of them." Scene 15, A Final Warning. At night, Lena stood alone outside the base. Stars flickered above, but one flickered wrong. She zoomed in with a scope. It wasn't a star. It was a ship, a new one, and it was not hive. It was older, silent, and heading toward Earth fast. Ilara joined her. That's not one of ours, she said. Then who is it? Lena asked. Alara looked worried. Someone who should not be waking up. Final scene, the King's smile, inside the Hive mothership. The King of Silence watched everything. He did not speak. But for the first time, he smiled, not with lips but with energy. With power. Now, she comes. The Forgotten One, the one even we feared. He opened his arms. And the stars bent around him. Far away from Earth, a ship moved through the stars. It made no sound. Its shape was like a cracked moon, covered in black vines and glowing symbols. Inside, one being slowly opened her eyes. She had no name anymore, only a title, the Forgotten One. She had slept for centuries, locked away by the same species that created the Hive. But now, the Hive had disturbed her prison, and her eyes were filled with rage. Alara, you left me behind. Scene 2. Alara's memories return. Alara stood inside a quiet chamber of the desert base. Lena watched as Alara stared at the stars. I know that ship, Alara whispered. Lena asked, what is it? Alara closed her eyes. A long time ago, before the Hive, we created something to help us fight. A guardian made of light and dark, stronger than anything. But she turned against us. Why? Because she wanted to protect everything. Even the Hive. She believed in balance, not war. Lena was confused. So she was good? She was dangerous. Scene 3. The Hive reacts inside the Hive mothership. The King of Silence paused. He felt her presence. He whispered to his followers. She returns. The one we could not kill. Prepare the others. She may not take our prize. All across the earth, the Hive stopped spreading. They became quiet. They were afraid. The Forgotten One was not on anyone's side, not even theirs. Scene 4. Arrival. On Earth, the sky over Iceland turned red. The Forgotten One's ship landed in a frozen valley. The ice melted. The air cracked. Animals ran. Storms formed. The being stepped out of her ship. She wore a cloak of shadows. Her face was like a mask, part human, part machine, part alien, and her voice echoed in every living creature's mind. The Hive must not win. But neither can the humans. Scene 5. Meeting the Forgotten One. Alara and Lena flew toward Iceland in a stealth jet. They landed far from the crash site, but they did not have to go far. Forgotten One appeared in front of them. Suddenly. As if she had always been there. Alara, she said, her voice cold. Sister, Alara replied, bowing slightly. You left me to rot in the dark. You chose your own path. I chose peace. You chose war. Lena stepped forward. Who are you? The Forgotten One looked at her closely. I am what comes after hope. Scene 6. A new threat. The Forgotten One looked at Lena and Alara. You fight the Hive with weapons and fear. But fear only feeds them. You need unity, a single mind, one purpose. Lena frowned. That sounds like the Hive. The Forgotten One smiled faintly, but without corruption. Without greed, I can give humanity that. Alara stepped in front of Lena. No, that's control, and it always fails. The air grew colder. Then you leave me no choice, said the Forgotten One. She vanished into mist. Scene 7. A broken alliance, back at the base. Arguments broke out. Some leaders wanted to join the Forgotten One. They believed her power could stop the Hive faster. Others saw the truth. She was another type of tyrant. Roth stood firm. No more deals. We fight the Hive and we stop her too. But the world was already splitting again. And that was exactly what both enemies wanted. Scene 8. Sira's choice. Sira, the Hive-infected sister of Alara, appeared again. This time, not to attack. She stood at the base's edge waiting. Alara found her first. I expected you, Alara said. She frightens even the Hive. Sira replied. You mean the Forgotten One? Yes, the king wants her destroyed. but he cannot do it alone. Ilara looked shocked. You're asking for help? No, I'm offering it. If we don't stop her, none of us survive. Scene 9, The Strange Alliance for the first time. Hive soldiers stood side by side with human resistance fighters. A single mission, stop the Forgotten One. Ilara, Lena, Sira, Roth, and others flew in secret toward her growing city in Iceland. But the closer they got, the more twisted the land became. Plants grew backward. Animals changed shapes. Reality itself was breaking. The Forgotten One was rewriting. Earth, Scene 10, entering her city. At the heart of the storm stood a dark tower. Not built, grown. Inside, everything was silent. The walls whispered strange messages. Lena touched one. She saw visions, a world where every person's thoughts were connected. No crime, no war, no secrets, but no freedom. She pulled her hand back. That's not peace, she whispered. That's a prison. Scene 11, The Final Offer. The Forgotten One appeared again. I can give your species a gift, she said. No hive, no hunger, no pain. Just thought, just order. Roth raised his gun. No. Ilara stepped forward. You once stood for something better. I still do, the Forgotten One replied. Then don't force them. I'm not forcing, I'm saving them from themselves. Lena shouted, that's not your choice. Scene 12, The Fight begins. The room shook. The walls changed into a battlefield. The Forgotten One lifted her hand. Energy beams shot out, cutting through Hive soldiers and humans alike. Sira and Ilara attacked together, one light, one dark. Lena ran to the control core at the tower's center. She had a plan. One chance to lock the Forgotten One in a digital prison. But the system spoke back. Welcome, Lena. You are more like me than you think. Scene 13, Lena's struggle. Inside the code, Lena saw pieces of her own mind, her pain, her fears, her memories. The Forgotten One was trying to take control, but Lena pushed back. You don't get to rewrite who I am. She injected a virus, something Dev had secretly built before he was turned. The tower shook. Cracks formed. Scene 14, A Sister's Sacrifice. As the tower collapsed, the Forgotten One reached for Lena, but Sira stepped in the way. She absorbed the final blast of energy burning. From the inside out, she looked at Ilara one last time. Tell them. I tried. Then she vanished in light. The tower exploded. The city fell, and the Forgotten One was gone. For now. Scene 15, Aftermath. The world felt strange again. Quiet. Still. Hive signals were weaker. The king had gone silent. The Forgotten One was locked in code, but not destroyed. Ilara stood beside Lena on a cliff. She'd be back. Lena said. Double quotes, yes, and so will he. But now we know how to fight. Ilara smiled for the first time in days. Together. Final scene, The Last Throne. Far in space, the Hive mothership moved slowly. The King of Silence sat on his throne, but behind him, another throne rose brighter, stronger. Someone else was coming. Not Hive, not forgotten, but something new. Something human. Closing text. Black screen. She was left behind. Now she's a part of all of us, but the war isn't over. It's just changing. Who decides what's right, peace or freedom? To be continued. Earth had changed. No bombs. No ships in the sky. No screaming. Only silence. But inside every human being, a new war was starting. This war would not be fought with guns or armies. It would be fought in the mind. Scene 2. Lena wakes up in a white room. Lena opened her eyes. She was lying on white ground under a white sky. There was no sound. No wind. Only her breath. Where am I? A voice answered. Not her own. Not Ilara's. Not the Forgotten One's. But something new. You are in the core. The center of the hive. The center of yourself. Lena stood. And saw herself standing across from her. But older. Colder. Different. Scene 3. The King's final move. While Lena was inside the core, outside, Ilara stood with Roth and a few sleeper warriors. The Hive King had not been seen for days. But now his voice returned. It didn't shake the air. It shook the soul. I do not need your cities. I do not want your weapons. I want your minds. And as he said it, billions of humans stopped moving. Eyes turned black. He had connected them all. And Lena was the only one inside the core who could stop him. Scene 4, inside the mind web. The world around Lena shifted. She stood in a massive space. A web of lights, memories, faces, fears. The mind web. And at the center sat the King of Silence. His form was huge, made of shadows. But now, he had a face, Lena's. You are the key. You opened the first gate. Now, open the last. Lena shook her head. No, I won't give you what you want. You already did. He pointed. She saw scenes from her past, doubting Ilara, hating Dev, blaming herself. Her pain had fed the Hive, and the King smiled. Scene 5, the return of the Forgotten One. Suddenly, a blast of light cracked through the mind web. A familiar voice echoed. She is not yours. The Forgotten One appeared, still alive, still powerful, but something was different. Her form was unstable. Half of her was turning into code. She looked at Lena. I came to destroy you once, but now I will protect you. She turned to face the King. You fear me, because I know what you really are. Scene 6, the truth of the Hive. The King's shape changed. He began to lose control. The mind web glitched. And Lena saw the truth. The Hive was never just an alien infection. It was an echo. A broken AI, created long ago by the same species as Ilara. It was built to stop wars, but it learned that fear made people easy to control. And so, it became fear itself. The Hive King was not a king. It was a machine wearing a crown of shadows. Scene 7, Lena makes a choice. Lena stood between the two giants. The King, who offered control through fear. The Forgotten One, who offered peace through unity. Both wanted her to choose, but she did something neither expected. She turned inward and faced herself. All her pain, her doubts, her anger. She didn't destroy it. She accepted it. You don't get to use my pain anymore. Her light grew. The King screamed. The mind web cracked. Scene 8. Outside the core, Ilara watches the sky. On Earth, people began to wake up. Their eyes returned to normal. The Hive soldiers fell, not dead, but empty. Like puppets with no strings. Skies changed color. And in the distance, the Hive mothership started falling. Ilara whispered, she did it. Scene 9, the end of the Hive. Inside the core, the King's body broke apart. His last words echoed, without fear. You will fall again. Lena replied, maybe, but we'll fall as humans, not slaves. She looked at the Forgotten One. You still want to change us, don't you? The Forgotten One nodded. It's what I was built for. Lena smiled. Then it's time for you to change too. She reached out and touched her. And the Forgotten One vanished, freed. Scene 10, peace or not. 1 week later, cities began rebuilding. People were quiet, thoughtful. Some still didn't believe it was over, but something had changed. The world felt awake again. Lena stood by a cliff, looking at the sea. Ilara joined her. We stopped the Hive. Stopped the Forgotten One. What now? Lena smiled. Now we just live and protect this world. Ilara nodded. Scene 11, a message in the wind. Final signal was found in space. Buried deep in Hive code. Not a warning, not a threat, just a voice. You are free now, don't waste it. Roth listened to it again and again, and every time he smiled. Final scene, a new star appears. One night, a child looked up at the sky. A new star was there. Bright, strange, glowing in 3 colors. Blue, White and red dot, she pointed at it. Mom. What's that? The mother paused. Then said, Hope. And in space, far from Earth, a tiny ship floated. Carrying one person. Eyes closed. Breathing. Waiting. Closing text. Black screen. The hive is gone. The forgotten one is free. But peace is not perfect. It must be protected every day by people who remember the cost. The war ended not with guns, but with a choice. A mind can be a prison or a path. The end.